What's going on, everybody? And welcome back to the Triple Threat Survivor podcast. I am your host, Ethan,
And I'm your other host, Quentin.
and welcome back to another video on the podcast where today, Clinton, we finally have it. Episode 1 of Survivor 50, One Big Epic Party.
Woo! Yeah,
Buddy,
finally took.
that was an
And
episode.
I gotta say, yeah, this episode was crazy.
I didn't think that it was going to be three. When they said 3 hours long, I was like, this is going to drag on. But, buddy, I didn't even, it went by so fast, I didn't even think it lasted an hour.
I know. Tell me about it.
But anyways, we got a lot of good subjects to talk about here. So first of all, before we begin, if you guys would like to like and subscribe the video, it helps us out a ton in continuing. And also, I'm going to try to remember at this time to put down below the link to our TikTok. We're going to post some Survivor stuff on there as well. Not really in this format, but like different clips and updates of when we're going to go out. And remember that we're going to be posting this podcast every week on Fridays at
7 o'clock.
Eastern Standard Time every Friday. And also, we posted some other videos. I'm going ahead and done a Mount Rushmore video. Links will be in the description below. And Quentin, how about we start talking about the first episode?
Okay, so this first episode, I'm telling you right now, most of the things that happened was not in my bingo card.
No. We actually did a bingo card.
Yeah, how did that go for you, by the way?
I was a Charlie talking about Taylor Swift away from doing bingo. Remind me, and I'll add it to the thing so we can keep up with that next time. Because I didn't prepare that for today, but I should have done that. So, well, actually, I just realized that I'm actually first up on this list here. We made a little bit of a list while going through the episode about why. And by the way, guys, me and him talk about Survivor a lot. We have not chatted since this last episode, so we actually don't know each other's opinions. So this is gonna be nice. So, Survivor 50 opened up with actually a flashback to some of the older seasons, showing the key moments from some of the players past and really the whole past of the show. And I thought, I don't know about you, but I thought that was the best way to open up the 50th season.
I could not agree with you more, Ethan. Now, I forgot to mention this, but season 1, I did watch a little bit of it, and when I first seen the flashback in Soulgate, I was like, oh my god, I can't believe they're actually doing this in Soulgate.
I was shocked that they went back and did that for as long as, because I kind of imagined that, they would go like the first rego, but to go through each person's season, I thought that was a smart way, because a lot of people aren't, like, for example, you said you started in season 32. You probably haven't watched a good half of these people play the game before, so I thought that was the best way, and they really did good showing almost every single person.
Yeah, that was a good way too for new viewers for Survivor and Soulgate, like myself, to get to know these players that I've never seen before in Soulgate. So that was a good way. Yeah.
And I absolutely loved like the shot of them getting on the giant airplane. Like I thought that was just the best time to open up, like just to cut and then to cut away to Fiji with them live playing the game. It was done excellent. And then we got to see everyone talking together for the first time and seeing everybody. And it was kind of actually emotional to see people like Cirie, Coach, Kobe, Coach, Cirie, and Ozzy, who are now older and even like I think Cirie and Kobe actually broke down a little bit.
One thing I was expecting to see on this beginning of it, I was expecting to see a Coach with an eagle shot. Not gonna lie, like an eagle in the.
I did too. It took him a while in the episode to start doing Coach little things. I thought at the beginning that Jeff was going to ignore him when he was going to each person, but they had to finish with Coach being one of the biggest characters, and he had his little I forgot what he said, but he gave a good quote, and I really liked it. And seeing everybody back there was interesting. And then we got to the marooning challenge, the first challenge of Survivor 50.
Ooh, okay. So this challenge they showed a couple of times, probably not the same way, but they have done this the past season. So again, one of my favorites, by the way. Okay, so they started the challenge with someone getting the key from this weird puzzle in Soul Gate where you gotta push the bar back in Soul Gate. Now that would take me a while to do, honestly.
Oh, I don't know. And then it cut to Christian Hubicki, who just absolutely started knocking it down. Like, that guy, he's probably the smartest person I've ever seen ever. Like, it's insane.
But anyway, during that challenge again, you can tell by that challenge by itself who is good and what character Corey and get. Like who's good with strength, who's good with puzzles and get, who's fast, who's not fast.
I was shocked, they split everybody up, and then when they went to get in the boat, just how fast, like some people, I believe it was Joe and Kobe
Yes,
together, just
they won.
pushing the boat by themselves. Then when Jonathan and Coach went, just the sheer power, it's the first challenge for a reason. Like it shows you who, like you said, the strengths and the weaknesses of really everybody, both mentally and physically.
Like I said, they was flying for that challenge. Everybody on the boat, anyway. They went on the boat, jumped on, pulled out real crazy, and they was there in no time.
Yep. And at the end of the challenge, is it the Vatu tribe with Q on it that one pulled up through the pink tribe?
Correct.
Yes, they pulled it through with the final part of it was lighting the torch. Which I don't know actually if you noticed this, but that is a great callback to the first ever challenge in Survivor Borneo, where they light the torch and all together light the flame.
Speaking of fire and Sologate, there was the only team that actually got their flint that time in Sologate, which that's usually what happens in the first episode of Survivor. But I think it was interesting how this season Sologate, the power of decisions of like rice, fire, tools, and Sologate was to the fans of Sologate.
Did you vote for them, by the way? All the votes?
I did.
Did you vote for either of the three that got revealed? I think everyone voted for there to be idols, but a lot of people I've seen online were talking about how the dynamic option for idols was actually online one of the most unpopular selections, yet it somehow ended up winning. Along with the decision to not give them rice and not give them tools, I personally voted to give them rice and give them tools because I wanted to see everyone healthy and ready to fight.
See, I like chaos. So I decided let's put some idols there, but let's not let them start with idols and rice. Let's let them work for it.
So you said not to give them rice and items.
Correct.
Okay, now this is interesting, and I want you guys in the chat, or not in the chat. What am I talking about? In the comments below to see if this is something that. Are you guys a new era viewer or an old era? I think this actually is a perfect split, and I think we'll see this more with me and him in this podcast. As a new viewer and an old viewer, back in the old days in Survivor, they gave them rice and they gave them like the machete and stuff to start. And like you're used to them not getting that. For me, it seems so odd for that to even be in question. So I think that's a split there.
Well, it's not just because it's odd. Again, I picked it because I like chaos. I want them to actually work for it in Sologate. Because if they start out with rice and tools in Sologate, then I feel like it ain't gonna be that interesting. But if they are working to get the tools and rice, we're gonna have more challenges like how they had not early on, more into the episode Sologate. They're gonna be fine for it. They're gonna be sweating. They're gonna be bleeding for it.
Okay, now this is the perfect segue. Speaking of bleeding and sweating and getting and being fight, so let's talk about what happened after that. So after they won, each team had to send someone to ended up being Exile Island to fight for rewards. Which I thought it was very weird that Q had to go, like someone from Vatu had to go. That's kind of odd, isn't it? Because normally they don't have to. It's normally just the other two has to go. So I don't.
If you haven't, so I don't know if you noticed, but in the last few seasons, Sologate, I've been paying attention to this detail law, but even the winning team has chosen pick someone to go on the journeys.
Oh really? Oh, I've not noticed it. Okay. So and it's just some people say. I mean, this is talk about fate. So the three people selected were Q, Ozzy, and Coach. And this is a big thing. It's probably one of the biggest storylines of the whole episode. Ozzy and Coach did not get over their South Pacific drama. And they touched on it a little bit in the episode, but I'm going to go ahead and explain to a lot of people if they haven't watched Survivor South Pacific, the beef between Coach and Ozzy. So, in Survivor South Pacific, there was 16 people on the island that had never played the game before, 16 rookies. And they brought back Coach and Ozzy from the seasons they were originally on. Ozzy was on Survivor Thailand, and Coach was originally on Survivor... Sorry, Coach was on Survivor Thailand. Ozzy was on Survivor Cook Islands. And they got another chance there. I think that was after Heroes vs. Villains, so they were also on that season as well together. But anyways, they came back and they battled, and they led the whole game. They both did. And that was the season with Survivor Redemption Island. So, anyways, fast forward to the end of the season. It was down to Ozzy, Coach, Albert, and Sophie. Sophie, yeah, it's just Sophie. And Coach had promised Ozzy that he would take him to the end of the game. Now, one thing that Coach knew is that if Ozzy said at the end, Ozzy would more than likely have won the game. Do I think this is true? I actually don't. I think Coach had whooped the game enough that he would have got the win, but I digress. In the moment, you don't know who's going to win. So, Coach inadvertently cut Ozzy, and Ozzy was fourth, and Coach got into the final three with Sophie and Albert. Well, the jury was very split over should Coach get it, and a lot of them was kind of bitter, and they were voting for Sophie because she kind of deserved it the second most behind Coach. Well, Ozzy set up at the last moment because obviously back in the day they used to go instead of just asking questions, they went into order. And Ozzy, being the last member of the jury, stood up last and gave a pretty good speech on why you shouldn't vote for Coach. And turns out Sophie won the $1,000,000. Coach got second. And they never, Ozzy never got over Coach cutting him. Coach never got over Ozzy being the reason he didn't get $1,000,000. Now I don't know about you, but I'd be pretty mad at someone if they cost me $1,000,000. So I think the drama is aside, personally.
I agree. I would be pretty mad if I was so close to winning $1,000,000 and all of a sudden one person decided he doesn't deserve it. No.
Yeah, especially setting up, and he gave a pretty good speech on why and talking about honor and integrity, which that's kind of Coach's jam. But anyway, so they got onto the Exile Island. I thought it was kind of funny how Q was just walking behind them during the whole entire conversation. He was just kind of there, just standing there, which is funny because Q is not normally a quiet person. He's normally very loud and very, has a moment, has his own diary room session talking about what's going on. And so I thought it's funny that he was just standing there for once. And Ozzy and Coach tried their hardest to squish their beef and apologize and say, and it took, about 10 minutes of screen time before them two were biting at each other again? I mean, no time at all.
Speaking of that, so during the challenge for when they went on the island again, can you explain the challenge real quick before I get to my point?
Okay, yeah, so the challenge is basically, it's actually a classic fun fact again. Another very random fun fact here. That was actually the challenge that Ozzy won when he returned to the game on South Pacific and on Redemption Island back when they had that. Ozzy played that challenge and won that. I don't think that was the one he got back on, but Redemption Island, which actually now that I'm saying that out loud, I bet you've never watched the season with Redemption Island on it, has you?
No, but I do remember Ozzy mentioning that he was born for that challenge surrogate, that he did this challenge multiple times.
Yeah, so that was a direct reference to, I kind of forgot. I'm glad you remember that because I forgot that he did say that. Yeah, so this was a big nod to him when he won Redemption Island to come back into the game to face Coach inevitably at the end of the game. So Ozzy had a big advantage, but basically what the challenge was is you had to tape together a bunch of sticks and stick it through a not a netted fence, but like a fence with a bunch of holes in it to try to get a key. And then you try to sweep the key towards you and go. And they used to unlock a puzzle and do a puzzle, but this was kind of a shorter version because they're on Exile Island and there's no Jeff Probst to say you got it, you won immunity. So it was a shorter version of it. And Quentin, to on the drama that this caused.
Okay, so they're the challenge surrogate. Like you said, they had to reach for a key by building sticks together and tying them together and surrogate. During this challenge surrogate, Ozzy was having trouble in surrogate because he was like the only one trying to get the key in surrogate, while Coach was over there saying like, "Oh, I'm gonna wait and do this." Then Ozzy says to Q, because Q actually almost got the key at some point. He said, "Hey, I'll let you get it if you actually manage to grab it in surrogate. You can have it." While Coach is over here saying, "I didn't say anything. Nope, I'm just gonna grab it. I didn't agree to anything like that." And to me, I know some people would be mad about that, like, "Oh no, why did he do that? He shouldn't have stole the key from Ozzy." But here's the thing: he did not agree to it, and
No, that's what I was gonna say. I'm sorry for interrupting you, but Coach never agreed to it.
and honestly, that'd be something I'll do too in Soulgate if I was ever in a challenge or something like that. Again, I didn't agree to it. I'm keeping my mouth shut. I'm winning no matter what.
And I thought it was. I was actually, as someone who's watched Ozzy play multiple times, I was kind of surprised at how. Would an appropriate term be sore loser?
Eh, I'll say so. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Sound like
was I was surprised. But one thing is also, this is very important for Coach to win because Coach is not a young guy anymore. In this terms of this game, he is one of the older, if not the oldest person out there. He needed to win and prove, like, hey, listen, I still got some type of physical momentum here, and I think he's meshing pretty well with his tribe.
Now, I have a fuzzy memory about what happened after our coach wins that challenge. Yes, I'm trying to remember. He leaves the island as his Aussie and Q. What happens after that?
They got stuck on Exile Island for the rest of the day. So they were
They
stranded. And the funny thing is with the tribe, Coach Q and I'm blanking on the tribe names by the way, guys. And sorry about
yes,
that. But not Quentin. Q goes Q's tribe got fire where they won the immunity challenge, or not the immunity challenge, the first challenge. Coach goes back and gives his tribe fire because he won the Exile Island challenge. And the tribe with Christian Hubicki and Rick Devens ends up with no fire. But they didn't last without fire for long because
this was one of my favorite moments of the episode because they was over here discussing like, okay, we are screwed. We got no fire. We can't be starting this in episode 1 and stuff again. Christian has the idea. What if we try to make fire with our glasses? And I don't know if this ever happened in any older episodes and stuff
absolutely
yet.
not. No. Nothing like this.
So this is the first time that it ever happened.
Yeah, there's
Okay,
one
that's good.
season like Survivor Heroes versus Villains where I think they made fire without a flint, but they have never started fire with glasses. I mean, that is
See,
unheard of.
that was crazy in Soul Get. Christian, like I said, he is pretty smart when he wants to be in Soul Get. Actually, pretty smart in general in Soul Get. Definitely when it comes to knowledge, I guess.
He knows what he's doing, and remember, he is a rocket scientist. And also, a big reveal there near the end. There, I did not know Christian was a dad. I didn't know that had happened over the time. Which I'm not really. I've never been the biggest fan of his, but I mean, I do like him. I mean, not like that, but I've never been like a super fan of his. So I didn't know that happened. So, and by the way, that is the tribe you're referring to right there. Is the Kyla tribe. I pulled up the names so I can be accurate here. So that happened, and that was insane. And then also, while we were on that beach, we learned of a new kind of trio forming between Emily, Rick Devens, and Christian. So what do you think about the power structure of that trio?
I mean, it's really too early to say how that is in Soul Get because this is a normal thing in episode 1 Soul Get. You have players over here looking for idols already. I wonder who that is, Rick. But then you got other players over here making alliances already in Soul Get. But later in like episode 3 and 4, the
Yeah,
alliance
they're already gone.
Yeah, it's rare that they're getting backstabbed. This person's like, "Oh, I changed my mind about this person." They've joined another alliance or something like that.
So we got to see them. We got to see some other things from the other tribes. Nothing that crazy. Coach came and told a few tales. A couple people kind of was like eyeballing each other and being like, "I like you" or "I hate you." Savannah. One thing I thought get an opinion real quick. Savannah openly told everyone that she won Survivor 49. How do you think that was? We talked in episode 0 about will people like Savannah and Rizzo lie about their placement and their who they liked and who they didn't like in Survivor 49. How do you think about Savannah just openly saying, "Yeah, I won," especially in the way she did?
Okay, well, first of all, that was on my bingo card. One of those players saying they won their season, so we'll get okay, season 49 winners. So I kind of expected that to happen. But honestly, I think that was dumb of her to say that in Solo Get because the other players had no clue, and that would have been a good advantage for her. That's all I gotta say about it.
I wonder if she thought like they may have told them that, but I feel like I don't know. I don't know if I would have lied about it, but she openly kind of bragged like, "Oh yeah, guess what place I got? Yeah, I won." I would have been a little bit more low key and be like, "Okay, yeah, I mean I won, but man, it was a bitter jury. I really just floated to the," and I would just like make up this giant story. And I know her and Rizzo are friends, so I wonder if they're going to openly be friends or be like, "Man, that Rizzo guy on the other tribe, he's a piece of work," and like try to go after each other instead of being friends. So I was really surprised that she just went ahead and said that.
Okay, so here's the thing. I already told you right. I will lie about when because here's the thing: if she makes it to the merge circuit, which most likely I think she will, I feel like that's gonna be a big target her back because everybody's gonna be like, she won her season. I think when they get her around, so again.
100%. However, I don't think she'll make it to the merge. I don't think there's a. I think if that tribe loses again, I think they would go after Savannah. And speaking of losing again, we'll go ahead and get to this real quick. The actual immunity challenge, the real immunity challenge. And Quentin, if you want to go ahead and explain what happened to that challenge.
Okay, so during this challenge, Saria, she had the part where she had to throw like what was that, a ball of rope or
Jeff
something
used
like
the
that.
term monkey fist, which I have never heard before in my life, and I don't see how that makes sense, but he said the word monkey fist.
Huh. Must be some kind of culture thing or something. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
have no idea. It was just a little ball with a rope, and you had to throw it into like a T, or a Y, not a T.
Anyway, so it was her job to throw it between this stick thing that was shaped like a U that she had to get the yarn between it so I can pull it back and so I get to pull the platform down. That way the team could go there to solve the puzzle so I get. But it took her a little bit long. I
God
mean, a
bless her
little bit
soul.
long. Like at that moment, it's so good. You could literally see Ozzy, I'm pretty sure, was over there praying like, "Oh
Yeah, he got
Lord,
down
please."
like an injured person. He just started like I don't know if he was praying or just giving up hope or and they had to go over. I think it was Joe had to go tap and be like, "Buddy, we'll be up that wall soon."
Yep.
And
Which, if he was praying, it worked because as soon as after he did that, she finally got it.
And I was actually wondering while watching the video, and I even said it audibly while watching it. And we'll go ahead and cut into this, but of course we'll talk about this again a little bit later. Spoiler warning. But the challenge actually had to get paused midway through due to a injury. So how it was structured is you had to do what Quentin was saying with Suri, not Suri, but their own person. Had to throw the monkey ball or the ball fist or whatever it was into the U or Y shaped thing, and then it would deploy a ramp that you walk up the wall. Well, Kyle helped this team, but actually, fun fact, little bit of an interesting fact here. The scene shown where Kyle jumped up the wall and landed awkwardly on his foot was not the jump when he got injured. Fun fact.
Oh, really?
Yes, there's another clip. It's actually on Twitter right now and other platforms. He landed. I mean, you could tell he was injured when he happened. And also another fun fact: it was not because Kyle was the last person. It's because Kyle went down to help Colby up the wall, and then Kyle. So it wasn't like Kyle was the last person. He had to go. He was already up, and he went back down to help Colby out, which that got cut from the episode for some reason. I think that's a very big thing to show that he, sacrificed himself literally to go do that. So he goes and he hurt his Achilles, and he was actually able to return to the challenge because Q jumped down and helped him back up, and he returned to the challenge, but it made a pause happen. And in my mind, did that give Suri the break to get back into it to throw it? So if that didn't happen, Suri May would have never made it out of that.
No, I feel like she would have been still at that monkey ball thing where we never going to get the name of it, but monkey fit. But anyway, she would have been out there still. They would have lost by way. Pretty sure they did lost. Am I correct?
They did lose. Yeah, there was no.
Yes,
There was.
by they lost their way. So
And I seen
they
someone.
did.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
They did make it to the ramp and started the puzzle, but they still lost anyway.
And by the way, something I just gotta say, I seen people blaming Emily and Christian for the loss on the internet.
What? Okay.
The two people
Sure.
doing the puzzle. There's no way you watched that challenge and came to that conclusion that they were the problem. I think that's just insane.
You had the other two teams having more than half of the puzzle done with already the time they got up there. You're expecting them to somehow do more than they already had already.
I'm pretty sure I don't remember who the Vatu tribe member was, but I know on Kalo it was Coach. And they both, whoever it was on Vatu, they both done it in the first two throws. Suri took, and again, this may not be true, this is just something I've seen, 9 on-screen throws to do it.
Wow.
Yeah, and again, on screen means there was editing, and again, Kyle got injured during that. A lot of things happened there. But anyways, the Vatu tribe, due to all this, they had the lead. They won it, and then the Kalo tribe came by and also won, sending the Gala tribe to tribal council, where we got to see a lot of connections and a lot of the real big gameplay start for the season. But beforehand, let's talk about a very interesting bromance that started between Colby and Rizzo. So, Quentin, if you want to go ahead and.
Okay, so Kobe and Rizzo, obviously they're in the same tribe, obviously, but here's the thing. Kobe's first impression of Rizzo, he was like, who the heck is this kid?
I hate that
Why?
guy, I think was the first thing he said.
Yes, he was like hating on himself. He was like, why am I in the same team? Guy, please help me in Soulgate. But then, later in the episode in Soulgate, all it changed. He's like, okay, I gotta help this kid.
I
This
thought it was
kid,
really nice to see just the immediate, like, there was a big turnaround, and I'm glad they, like, shown that, because I think Colby is somebody that production loves as a hero and as a good guy, so to make them show him say, like, I hate this kid, that's kind of, I was like, that's kind of rude. I'm kind of surprised they shown that. And then to show that they kind of had, I think Rizzo called it a father-son relationship almost in a way. Is that correct?
pretty sure, yeah.
I thought it was great to see. So I actually, and I really like, a lot of people online don't like Rizzo, and I feel like I mentioned that a lot. I think I'm 3 for 3 on this channel mentioning how people don't like Rizzo. I've always liked him personally. I was glad to see he come back. I was okay. I don't know why I said glad to see you come back, like I lost all train of thought. Anyways, yeah.
Speaking about bromance, there was a other one that we could see in the other tribe in Soulgate with Rick and Christian.
Yeah, that was a very that was an immediate I got when I first seen them together, I was like, "Oh yeah, they played together before." They did not. They were on different seasons. So Rick was in Survivor Edge of Extinction and Christian was in Survivor David versus Goliath. They clicked immediately.
Like, even in the episode Soulgate, they was making the mood so good for him. Like, I'm not trying to make this sound weird or anything, but that's literally what they did for the episode.
I mean, they were in the diary room saying, "I love that guy," like very passionately. So
Yeah.
I'm glad to see two people find each other liking them that much, and I like both Christian and Rick Devon. So I mean, I'm here for it. If they're the final three, especially like with Emily with them, I'm here for it. Or Joe or Coach, I'm here with that group moving forward.
And here's the thing: they're an emergency Soulgate. That's going to be one of the only two that I know that not going to betray each other in Soulgate.
No, I
They're
think they would go to the end, even knowing that one of them would win over the other one.
mm-hmm. Which, again, this episode, wow, where we have two new relationships that took a whole turn and then lingered, then oh lord, so
Two
much
big
more.
positive relationships, and always, there's, when you bring 24 people who are back as all stars, you got to have some beef. So we get back to the camp, the Kala, or I hope I'm saying it, Kala. I think that's the right. Anyways, the Orange Tribe's camp, and Jenna Lewis doesn't like Suri for some reason. Now I know they played together on Survivor Heroes versus Villains, but I don't recall there being beef against them. So this is just like raw dog. I want Suri out. Which again, Suri's a good player. I can definitely see why she would want. Her and Suri's almost in the same place, as in like, they're the older Survivor players, both seen as really good players. I can see why they'd want to target each other. But Jenna didn't just want Suri out. She how would you describe what she was doing?
Well, she was trying to make a big play in the beginning, so like it looks like, because during that whole moment of her response, and then like, okay, I need to get her out somehow. She was talking about like how in Survivor you can't just be buddy buddy with everybody. You gotta talk. You got to strategize. You gotta make plans right now. This is season 50. You gotta do something now. You gotta get the player that I think that is gonna make it far that we need to get rid of now. And during the challenge Soulgate, that helped with her argument a lot.
Oh yeah, extremely. Because I mean, it was apparent that she was. I mean, Suri. I mean, it took her a long. Anyways, yeah, Jenna, like a torpedo or something, went to, I think every single person said, we got to get out Suri. And it was insane. So that happened, and Suri and Ozzy, who had been friends in the past, made connections. You had Christian, Emily, and Rick to go together, and I think Savannah and Joe was getting brought into that. And it looked like for a while maybe that Ozzy may have been ended up getting the boot there.
Yeah. I remember that they saying Aussie is protecting her and so again.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be a liability.
Yes, and
Which
I think it was Emily that brought it up more than everyone. Like, hey, listen, if we get an Aussie, that's a big move, and that's a good move.
speaking of relations, there was a other one that they was showing. I don't know if you noticed or not because they did mention this. It was Q and Genevieve, I think.
Yes, Q and Genevieve, they would have definitely ended up being Q, Genevieve, Kyle, uh, Q, Genevieve, Kyle, Kobe, and Stephanie. Kind of started a little bit of a fivesome at the start of this game. A little bit, not. I don't want to use the word alliance because of a couple of events that happened later on the episode, which we'll get to the one by one. How alliance, you got to be strong and able to control things, and they're not in control of anything right now. And then also another thing there is, and the other big rivalry ship in this episode is what is going on between Genevieve and Aubrey.
Oh Lord, I don't know. Both of them are good players in my opinion. So again,
Oh yeah, 100%.
they can never tell themselves. They're like, she's up to something. She does not want to work with me. Actually, she's just probably using me as a number. She's probably up to something big because that's something I would do. And the thing is, they're comparing themselves with each other and so again. When they're having that staring moment and so again,
That scared me. I'm not there, but I was scared. They were looking like
I had goosebumps.
I did too. I don't want anyone to ever look at me like that. They were there was someone else with them in that area, but I don't remember for the life of me who it was. But there was someone else there, and I'm like, dude, turn your eyes. It may have been Kyle actually. I was like, dude, turn your eyes and look at their eyes. You'd be scared. Like them two were freaking me out with how much, and they were just in the diary room taking shots at each other. And I'm like, oh my, so that's gonna be something to look forward to, if that in the future. So
See that moment right there. If they did, and I feel like there was I forgot what season of Survivor it was, but there was the same thing that happened during a past episode. So get with specifically two female players that I remember correctly. Over here, they act the same, they talk the same, same game strategy. I forgot who.
I remember
And,
it's like a new era season. It's happened
yeah,
recently. Yeah.
yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
But nothing like that. Like it was more like a personal thing. These two people were like they were sizing each other up like two gladiators about a fight in an arena. It was insane. And
But yeah, Aubrey was not believing in it. She's like, no, I'm not going to work.
Yeah.
No.
So I think that's gonna be interesting. But anyways, let's go ahead and get on to the tribal council. Again, if you for some reason been watching this whole podcast so far and you don't want spoilers, first of all, you've failed horribly. You have failed horribly if you're trying to. But if you're somehow, I know some people for some reason it's bizarre, likes to know what happens but doesn't want to hear the boot order. This is your official warning. We are going to spoil the boot order. So they go in the tribal council, and I think they decide. They talk a lot, and I think the decision officially got made that between Suri and Jenna is crazy. She is targeting. She's playing way too hard, way too fast, and they need Ozzy. That tribe, as far as physical strength go, they got Joe, which Joe's a pretty big dude, pretty good physically. And they got Savannah, but they don't know Savannah's strong. Because one thing that Savannah did say she was going to try to hide, or she says it later in the episode. She didn't say it then. She said it later in the episode. Is that she is going to want to. How'd she say it? She didn't want to let people know that she won immunity as much as she did, which I think is smart. At least she's going through the effort to do that because she wants to just blurt out immediately that she won. So, anyways, the votes are cast. I forgot the vote split. I should have. We need to write that down for future notice, but we didn't this time. And Jenna Lewis was the first person voted out of Survivor 50, and she was bitter.
Yeah, but she was a little bit bitter. Yeah.
She didn't hug anyone. She didn't want to hug anyone. She just left, and she's been spitting out some mad crap on Twitter. She's been talking about it because Survivor's filmed about 2 or 3 months before it's actually shown. But then their NDA, where they can't talk about it, goes up with the moment that they're voted out. They can talk about what happened, their experience. Obviously, they can't be like, "Coach wins." They can't say that. But I mean, like they can say, how their experiences. And she was bitter. She don't like anybody. And quite frankly, it would have to be a bum to come out of retirement to go on Survivor, the biggest season ever, and lose the way she did. Because her portrayal, I mean, I don't want to give her game a score. Oh, that's another thing that I was going to talk about earlier, and I said you was going to talk about you with before we started. I'd like to think it'd be funny if we gave a score for each person that got eliminated, like how well we think they played.
Mm.
We'll start that next time just so we can be prepared to do that.
If I was going to give her a score right now, I'd give her a 5.
A 5 out of 10.
Yes, a
Okay.
5 out of 10. Only because she was one of the only people actually trying to play the game aggressive, which that was a good and a bad thing.
Yeah, that's very. I'd give her a 2. As much as I like to see her play the game, I mean, you gotta know. I mean, listen, it's a tribe of 8. She should have known that Ozzy would have been close to Cirie. She should have known that was happening there. I mean, she should have known. I hate to say it. I did like Jenna, especially in Heroes vs. Villains, but she should have known that that was going to happen. So I got to say it like 2 out of 10. I mean, I think it was bad. I mean, I do agree with you, though. She was very much the only person really to open up the strategy. And I think actually, and this is kind of a thing, just I think, which maybe I might be wrong here. I think if she would have kept her mouth shut and not went to everyone about Cirie, I think Cirie would have just naturally been voted out.
Yes. Or ever again, waited until the challenge was over with, then try to vote Cirie out. Like, I know she wanted to know that she was going to be that bad in the challenge.
Yeah.
But if she waited, it could have proved her case more, and she probably would have been in the game still.
Yeah, but I think it's easy to say. I mean, looking at this tribe dynamic, I think Joe, Savannah, Emily, and Christian would have came together as a 5, even without Jenna, and said, listen, Cirie's the weakest player. We got to get her out. So, I mean, I think, so Jenna just shot herself in the foot. But anyway, so that's what happened. And then we went back to the beach, and then a boat came for an adventure. So, Quentin, what happened during the adventure?
So, during this journey, 3 people was selected to go. So, yeah, we had Kobe, Mike, and Savannah, which, by the way, it's a very interesting 3. It's
yeah,
not like how
there's no, it's just random.
It's not like how the last journey go with Aussie Cube and Coach Delegate. It's very random. Anyway, they went to the journey. They read the thing, but here's the thing: only 2 of them was going to compete to. So really, it was pointless bringing 3 people there.
Yeah, I don't know why I think that was just a very random thing. Which I guess there's 3 tribes, but I thought that was a very weird thing to add in the first test with Mike there.
Yeah. Anyway, Mike was the one that said, "Hey, I'm just gonna go. Bye bye." Even though he was the one excited to go because he never went to one of these challenges.
No, you had Savannah and Kobe, which Kobe hadn't been there either. But Michael's like, "I'm going on an adventure, guys. This is amazing." And he lasted a minute before they're just like, he's like, "All right, I'll leave. I don't care." Which is smart. I wouldn't want to stay there either, because
Anyway, so the challenge that Serena and Kobe had to do was this stacking game, which I actually played before in Soul Game with some of my buddies in Soul Game, and I love it my way. I'd recommend you doing this if you get a chance even or somehow find the game.
Oh, is it like the block stack? I actually have one. I actually have it.
Oh,
yeah, dude, I've played it before too, and it's hard. So I give these guys credit, especially with the big blocks. I don't know how they done it.
Anyway, you can tell they had both of them had different strategies of the game. Serena wanted to make it wide because, well, she's short. She cannot reach tall. But Kobe, he realized it. He was like, okay, I'm going to make this tall. Make sure she cannot do anything. Make sure she loses by default. Well,
yeah,
that didn't work.
Totally didn't backfire or anything.
Anyway, he ended up losing because, well, his strategy didn't work. Who would have guessed? Anyway, Sharita, I'm Molly. Sharita, okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Sharita, she ended up winning a block a vote, which, again, we are against so many idols from the first episode already. Like, it is crazy.
Yeah, and then Kobe losses though. I don't really like as many status changes as we got, because then afterward we go back and we get to see another little bit from the Vatu tribe, and lo and behold, actually real quick, we'll cut into this here and then we'll go into Vatu there. Uh, Mike comes back, and apparently in the short time that Mike was there with Savannah and Kobe, they talk about some stuff that's happened, and Roard gets back to Coach that Ozzy is mad over the way he did, and Coach is not a happy camper.
No, pretty sure Mike was over here saying like, "Oh yeah, coach, yeah, no, I don't want to be near him right now,"
Yeah,
or something
Coach
like that.
was vivid over the fact that Ozzy was talking about that he didn't trust Coach, because and he's played every Survivor season he's had with his honor. Like, Coach's gig on Survivor is that he does not like to be known as a liar or a cheater. He doesn't like to do it. Kind of similar to Joe in a weird way, in a different way. You know, Joe's more of a
Yep.
normal person than Coach is kind of a character. By the way, Coach he won that one challenge, and he was a very big help on the immunity challenge, and he helped a lot on the marooning challenge too. So Coach, he did a lot this episode, as far as
Um,
physically, and he started a beef with Ozzy, which that's nice, which that's not a good thing. But anyways,
and and here UW said he wasn't going to do that much this season since he's an old man now.
yeah, I
Well,
did.
you're
I slept on. I got that wrong. I was wrong there. And then Quentin Genevieve find what did she find in in her island in Vatu?
well. Before we get to that, I want to say something else about Savannah with her when she went back to her tribe.
Oh yeah.
So when she went back to her tribe, so they asked
Oh yeah, I
what
forgot about
happened.
that.
Yeah, they asked what happened to Soldier. She told her about how Mike left Soldier. She played the game against Kobe. But she says the only catch was she didn't lose her vote, which wasn't a lie at first. Because when they went to the island, I forgot to mention this at the beginning of this, when I was talking about this, they said whoever wins ain't going to lose their vote in Soldier. Which, again, pointless. Why would you go there just to lose your vote? But anyway, now she knew that she had the advantage and she had to lie to everybody. She's like, okay, I'll make sure nobody knows about this.
Yeah, and then everyone caught. I mean, her bluff was caught instantly. I think it was Devins in the private and the diary confessional was just laughing at her for
I thought
yeah,
it was Rick.
huh?
I thought it was Rick. I
Rick
thought it
Dev
was Rick.
Rick Devins.
Yeah,
His nickname is
I think.
Devins.
Oh well, my bad. I'm again new watcher.
Yeah.
I'm only. Anyway, I think it was ironic how Rick was over laughing since he's the what I seen from the episode anyway. He's the idol hunter, and so he's
Yep.
the one looking for idols 20%. I think it was ironic. He was like, "She's trying to lie to me. Come on, I'm the one that this is every time. I know."
I'm glad to see Devins back. It's a fresh breath of fresh air to see him and like just the people who hasn't been there in a while. I hope, which I know people has to leave, but you know, but it's I kind of hope some of the newer people go before some of the older people.
Yeah.
But anyways, Genevieve goes and she finds the Billie Eilish boomerang idol.
Which random by the way. I know they had Twitter posts about this and everything, but still random by the way. This is like the Mr. Beast collab, it's all get
Yeah,
random.
that is gonna be. It's just I don't really know how that happened or where like who came up with that idea. Like I know it's in the hands of the fans and they are fans, but I didn't see that coming at all.
Okay, well here's the thing about the Mr. Beast one. I think the only collab they had was during his Beast game season 2. Because there I watched it and you didn't watch it.
Oh
But
really? Yeah.
anyway. So during this collab so for a challenge, so spoilers if you haven't seen Beast game season 2. I know random for a Survivor podcast, but
Yeah.
anyway. So during one of the episodes, they went to the island actually for
Oh
a
really? They went
challenge
to
to look
Fiji?
at.
I seen a clip and
Yeah,
I didn't know what it was from of Jeff telling Mr. Beast what did he say? There, you don't need to scream if you're in control. And I seen that clip and I was like, oh, get him.
they went to the island and they did like that pole challenge where they had to hang on to on the pole and so look at. Mr. Beast paid some people out with some money, which is something you're never gonna get on Survivor.
That's really
Because
interesting.
you know it's Mr.
I need to watch Beast. And wasn't Sue from Survivor on Beast Games?
Yes, she was on there and so look at. Yes, I love seeing her on there. I was like, oh my gosh, she's
Was
on
she
here.
the only one, or is there others?
I think she was the only one survivor that she was on there. Which, funny enough, when she was the one that went on the island so again, and she's like, "It's great to be back. I have a home advantage."
Did she win the challenge?
How can I say?
Oh, okay.
You go watch yourself.
Okay, no spoilers. A little bit of spoilers, but not all spoilers. I like it. Okay, so Genevieve's got the boomerang idol, which you send to someone, and if they get voted out, it gets sent back to you, which gives you the strategy: do I send it to someone I like, or do I send it to someone who she probably won't last long? And she did the latter when sending it to Ozzy, who she took the bet probably wouldn't last long, and I think that's a safe thing to say.
And here's the thing: Ozzy really has a two-fold advantage now. So again,
Yeah.
because I forgot, like, someone gave his their vote to him or something like that. Am I correct?
Yeah, I don't know how he got.
I forgot how long.
Q gave him his vote. Q don't have a vote.
Oh yeah, because they left the island and yeah, because Q got the supplies. So yeah, that's right. But now he got an idol and the vote twice advantage. Which, by the way, my opinion, I think if he doesn't get kicked out, I think he'd be one of the most powerful players, all idol wise in
Oh yeah,
right now.
if he can find footing in his tribe, which may be a little hard, because now it's going to be him and Suri probably against the 5 other people, which is going to be hard for him to, no offense to that tribe, I don't see that tribe winning that many competitions. So it may get rough for Aussie fast, and so. But do you think it's a smart move to send it to someone like Ozzy, or would you have sent it to your friend on the other side? Or because like Genevieve has, well, I guess she does, does she?
Here's the thing. Let's say a situation that me, you was on Survivor and was in different teams. By the way, I had this talk with Landon time by the way. Anyway, I would send it to you because one, you're the only one I can trust with instantly because I know you from outside Survivor.
Yeah.
And two, if you get it gets back to me anyway, and I'll be like, oh no, Ethan's fell out. Oh no.
Like in this case, like let's say me and you, instead of being friends from like the way we became friends all these years. Let's just say me and you were on the same season together. I actually probably wouldn't send it to you actually, because number one, I don't think you'd get voted out quickly. So I would want to send it to someone who I think would be voted out quickly.
Well, thank you for saying that, by the way.
Yeah, I don't see people like targeting you. I would say, well, okay, now flip side, if I thought you were gonna get voted out quickly, then yeah, I would send it to you. But then also, and I do not recall this, so maybe you do, with the rules, if you use it, does it come back to me still? Like, does it boomerang back?
Ooh.
Because if so, then that's a really stupid that's a really stupid idol. Because if I send it to you and you become in danger, you're just gonna use it.
No, it's a gamble. I think it's like, okay, I want to give this person. I hope they'll use it.
Oh, okay.
And to make sure.
Well, that's kind of a flawed idol, I think. Because I mean, obviously, if you're in danger, you're gonna use an idol. I mean, so maybe I would have it to if you use it and they use it correctly, it comes back to you. Maybe something like that. I don't know.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. I want to give it to nobody. If it's an idol, I'm keeping it. I'm sorry. Yeah. I need.
Which obviously for this idol, that wasn't a choice. She had to give it to somebody. But you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then after that, the episode. That's all the things that happened in the episode, and we were about ready to close out the episode. I thought it was over. Everyone had their bits and pieces. There's a little bit of stuff that we missed, guys. This is not a full episode overview. This is just a podcast where we talk about Survivor, so we're just talking about the key points of the episode. For right now, again, this is just episode 1, so there's not that much. We were going to compare some people's games in the future, but for right now, there's actually not that much to compare because, people haven't really done any, no true strategy started yet. However, the last 5 minutes of the game, of the episode, a boat came in. And Quentin, who was on that boat and what news did they have to deliver?
Okay, so the person that was on the boat was Jeff and the doctor. I forgot who they said this.
Dr. Jeff.
Okay, never mind. I should remember that. Anyway, they come in, do some tests on Kyle and so again, checking his legs. So like I see, he got his reflexes. So again, squeezing his thighs. Yeah, weird. I know, but that's how they see it. And apparently, they say, okay, this is getting too bad. you cannot stay here until again. It's our job to make sure your safety comes first until again. So you have to go. Your season has to end early, in which that has ruined a lot of people's moments are during until again, especially the whole team.
And like that, and that is not a joke, by the way. If you've not watched the episode, and this is just, and I hate it, but that is how Survivor 48's champion Kyle Frazier got voted out of Survivor 50. Medical evacuation on episode 1. That was big.
See, if that didn't happen, he would have made far.
And we'll go ahead and pop up the draft here, guys, so you guys can see. I survived the episode without losing anybody.
Yay. Look at you.
Yeah, I'm making it somewhere.
I'm trying to remember. Was I the one that had Kyle?
You did have Kyle. I just popped it on the screen, but can't see the screen. Yes, he lost Kyle in the most unfortunate way ever.
He didn't get folded out. I lost mine because of an injury, but I hope he's doing better now. So I heard from you actually that he got a leg brace or something.
They were at the Survivor 50 premiere, and I seen the brace on. Like he had like a foot boot, like you see often with people with injuries. And I kind of wondered to myself, I'm like, what are the chances? You know, because if you get an injury, like, but obviously, he's kind of a sporty guy. There's a chance he got hurt. Other than that, but yes, Kyle got evicted like that, and I know that must have stung for him because it's not like he's a player that didn't stand a chance. I mean, he's a pretty good player, and he had a good spot on his tribe.
Yes, he again made it to the merge, so he would have dominated.
Yes, I believe so, and especially with his relationship with Camilla and all that. I mean, he had potential there. And one thing I wanted to bring up, which I thought was interesting. So remember that Vatu tribe that we were talking about earlier, that 5-person alliance that kind of opened that? Let's just go over this real quick. All right, the alliance was between Stephanie, Kobe, Genevieve, Kyle, and Q. Kyle eliminated via medical evacuation. Kobe does not have a vote. Q does not have a vote. 5 of the 5 members, 1 of them's out and 2 of them don't have a vote in the first episode. Meaning that they technically don't even have majority on their own tribe.
I'm trying to remember, did either one of them told anybody in their alliance that they did not have a vote?
I don't
believe... No, I know Q.
I know Q told Kyle, but other than that, no. They did not. That was not a talked about thing. So that's kind of...
So that alliance really ain't going to do anything for Diverse Tribal Council?
No. I can't believe that it's that...
And if they might have the numbers now because, no. Now after the first trial, they might be the dominant ones there, but they might need to add someone else to their alliance just in case. And I got a question: who do you would think if they do have to do that? Who do you think they're going to try to draft into their alliance?
Rizzo. I don't know why. Rizzo. Don't ask me why. I just feel like honestly, with that tribe, I think their alliance is done. I think that's just a blown socket. Like you said, that there's some things that just by episode 3, it's just in the past. I think that alliance will be one of them because now with Kyle gone, I see Q and Genevieve sticking together, but Stephanie and Kobe will stick together, and then Aubrey is going to try to kill Genevieve more than likely. So you're going to see them 2 split off, and I do see people like Stephanie and Kobe going more with Aubrey than Genevieve. So I don't think that. I think Kyle being eliminated there and Kobe losing his vote. I think that alliance is just done for.
Yeah, well, they probably would have betrayed the church anyway. Like again, by past seasons, so again, definitely during the new era and so again, you had all women's alliance and the betraying the church. You had all strong alliance and the betraying church.
Oh yeah.
You had a whole tribal alliance during the merge, so again. In the betraying each other. So either way, ends up with everybody betraying each other. Or
tribal alliances will be nothing this season. The moment there's a merge or a swap of tribes, these players are going with who they like. Coach is going with Kobe. Rizzo's going with Savannah. Christian and Mike's going to hook back up. There's no way they stay like this.
Well, here's the thing. Speaking of that, we might have a 4% alliance already if all 4 of these people make it to the merge, and it's the 4 people you mentioned this now, by the way, just because of Kobe and Rizzo.
Yes, Kobe, Coach, Rizzo, and Savannah. And by the way, I'm not complaining. But I also think there'd be, remember in Survivor 48, the Honor and Integrity group? You got some people
Yep.
here, Coach, Jonathan, Joe, which Twitter would go crazy over that alliance, screaming and yelling. Oh, by the way, just want to cut in and do this real quick here. I know this is kind of late in the video to do it. And I said in the last video I didn't know why people dislike Jonathan. I now know why. And that's all I'm going to say about it. But I did figure out the reason people don't like him, and I don't support that. But yes, I figured out the reason why they don't like Jonathan, and I'll tell you about it later. But I don't want to make this a controversial podcast, but I figured out the reason, and I just felt like saying that I did find there is definitely a big reason why people don't like him, and I figured it out, and so I just want to put that out there just to cover my own behind.
Well, I think that's everything we went over of this episode, I think, today. Am I correct?
Yes, I think we have covered fully the whole entire episode of season 50. And also, guys, there's no rating for Kyle. Obviously, Kyle sadly got, he was in a good spot. I mean, but, he don't get a rating because, he got medevac. Before we go, me and Quentin was talking, and we said we're going to do this each week. And if you guys would like, I may do this thing on TikTok after the episode for people to vote. We're going to be doing a weekly MVP, most valuable person, on the tribe. And me and Quentin was talking about this week. And we talked and we discussed, and this is just ignore how low quality the image is. We'll make it better in the future. This week's MVP was
Bum.
the Dragon Slayer. We gave it to Coach, and me and Quentin agreed. I think that, Coach, he just done a lot this episode.
The thing is, it was barely no talking when we agreed. It was like, okay, who do you think? And we both said Coach instantly.
Yeah,
so
we both.
It could tell. Yeah, we both seen the same thing from this episode.
The only other person that I may give a little nod to would be actually, ironically, Ozzy, because Ozzy just, he had a lot of screen time, but I think Coach just overall did the most victory. Oh, also in Devins and Christian maybe, also with like the eye thing and just being good on the challenge. Christian Hubicki's probably the runner-up here, but we did decide to give it to Coach. In the future, though, I will be posting on TikTok a thing, and you guys can cast your votes for who you guys think is the MVP of the episode. And I'll try to edit this and make this a better-looking graphic next time for you guys.
Before we end the episode, Ethan, I want to give I want to answer one of these questions we got from YouTube actually.
Oh, okay,
so
go
we
ahead.
got a question from YouTube. If you guys don't know, if you ask a question on YouTube and so like or Spotify or TikTok, we will most likely pick your question. So yeah. Anyway,
Yes.
the question we got today from, I can't believe I'm saying this name, YT Lando Snags. That's a real user, by the way. Anyway, hey, who do you think is in shape and who do you think is not in shape? Random question, but that's one.
All right, I'll let you go first. Who do you think's in shape? We'll do that one first, real quick.
Ooh, in shape. Well, obviously, I gotta go with the obvious ones.
Oh yeah, John.
Ozzy.
Oh yeah.
Ozzy. Coach. Even though, again, in the beginning of the season, and when first started, you said he was definitely not going to be it.
I did. Yeah. I'd have to agree. Ozzy and Coach. I think some people just say the obvious answers like Q, Joe, and Jonathan. I was also going to say Kyle, but apparently he's not in leg shape. So... yeah, I gotta agree with you. The same people, really. I'm really surprised and glad that Coach and Ozzy are still in good shape. Kobe's in pretty good shape to be at the age he's at after all these years.
The person I'm shocked about that's in shape, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, it's Mike. Have you seen that six-pack?
He is.
Holy
I know. The White Lotus gym.
Even his teammates were like, "Holy cow! You see that?"
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. And then who is out of shape? Who we throwing out as out of shape? We can't say Suri. because that's kind of obvious because we know she has back issues. Who's out of shape?
Okay.
I actually don't
Probably.
know.
It's hard this season, but probably Tiffany would be one.
Yeah, she didn't do
Aubrey,
anything.
maybe?
Yeah, they didn't really. I mean, they didn't show any. I don't really know. Even that's I kind of like they just didn't do anything. It's not that they did anything bad. It's just they did nothing. So I don't
Yeah.
really know what to say.
Thanks for
Everyone's surprised me. So, but thank you, Lando Snags, for the comment. And again, if you guys have any comments, leave it down below. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe. We will be back again next Friday at 7 o'clock for another episode. Which I heard that each episode is gonna have 2 evictions. So I guess these are just gonna be longer episodes. And me and Quentin may get together and post a one-off video in the week. But if so, just make sure again follow us on TikTok. That's the best way to get notifications for what we're going to do because I'm going to try to update on there. And I may make a Twitter account just because I feel like there's a lot of people that talks on Survivor on Twitter, but I also may not because Twitter's like a cesspool and I don't really want to get into that. So, but anyways, yeah. Anything else, Quentin, before we sign off here?
Yes. Again, don't forget to drop by on, like Ethan said, our TikTok and Soul Get, but also drop by our Spotify. And while you're at it, ask a question. We would love to answer
Oh yeah.
questions to Soul Get. We have to think about your opinions of what we said in Soul Get. Heck, if we said something that we didn't mention in the episode in Soul Get, please tell us.
Yeah, and
Because there was a lot so that we definitely didn't go over in Soul Get.
actually, let's do this. If you guys have a big point that you think that we missed, I will get back on the recording thing, even if Quentin's busy, or maybe even vice versa, and I will make a updated post on maybe TikTok if that's something that if there's something big. I don't think there's anything big for this episode because I think we did very good. Quentin is an expert note taker, so he had the notes prepared, and we got this down good. But anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching another episode, and I hope to catch you all next time.
Bye bye.